So a parent who says, I don't know how to play with my child, or I don't know what to do to make my child interact with me.
Yeah.
And you pick that one instance when the baby, maybe at bedtime, snuggles up with her. What happens then? How come she snuggles up with you then? What do you do to make that happen? How do you make the time for that at that time? Right? What special songs do you sing for her?
Right.
Why does she feel so comfortable and curl up only on your lap?
Hi guys, welcome to Kidsstoppress.com. Today we have with us Dr. Vibha from Ummeed. Hi Doctor.
Hi.
Hi. And we've already spoken about a lot on in terms of developing disabilities, and you've obviously spoken on how we have a long way to go, because it's not about my problem, your problem, but it's going to be a problem that everybody needs to be concerned about, because 53 million people who are going to be the workforce of tomorrow are going to be part of this number. How is Ummeed creating a community to kind of amplify the resources needed to kind of address the problem at hand?
So honestly, Mansi, I see it as two groups of people that we're working to build awareness and skills.
Okay.
So one group of people is anybody who comes across children,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that group is going to be any parent,
Right.
any teacher,
Right.
any pediatrician, any physician, anyone who interacts with kids, any preschool teacher.
Right.
You've got a whole gamut of people who need to be aware about what child development is, what typical child development is, when to recognize when a child is delayed, how to help a child who has any developmental delays. The other group of people who are people who already recognize children with disabilities,
Right.
and that is parents of kids with disabilities.
Right.
Those are special educators, therapists,
Right.
specialists, and they need help too, because I
Right.
don't think there's enough out there to help them build their skills.
Right.
So Ummeed is committed to really increasing both groups of people, those who are sensitized, those who have the skills.
Then you mentioned about the stigmas that parents face and the acceptance, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get parents to realize that it's not a stigma?
Stigma is a function of the community.
Right.
And it's really hard to tell parents, there is no stigma, because there is, right? It's not something that they are wanting to have. I think the hesitation you feel as a parent when you recognize that your child is struggling with something,
Right.
but you hesitate to seek help for multiple reasons.
Right.
One is you don't want to hear what people have to tell you. You're worried the school may reject your child.
Yeah.
You're worried about rejection at multiple levels.
Right.
But I think what I'd like parents to think about is the loss of time if you don't recognize it early enough and bring it up early enough.
Right.
You may be losing the time that you can spend helping your child acquire skills that he or
Right.
she needs.
Right.
So I think I would urge parents that if they feel something's not quite right,
Right.
to sit up and pay attention and seek help as soon as they can.
Right. Also, earlier in our conversation, we talked about how a lot of schools are not inclusive yet. What's the route for the parent then to make sure that, my child is still learning and is still stimulated? Like, of course, there'll be a lot of, activities that he or she will do, but, for example, things that he should be learning at his age, right?
Mm-hmm.
How does a parent still, because I know there are not too many schools for children with developing disabilities. I mean, we're fortunate we're in a metro city, but I know that Bombay is not the rest of India.
Yeah.
So what's the journey of that parent?
That's a really tough question actually, because schools are one of our biggest challenges.
Yeah.
So many schools, like I said, don't even acknowledge that kids with special needs is an issue for them. But I would say today there are quite a few schools who acknowledge that it's an issue, but also acknowledge that they don't know how to deal with it.
Right.
So Ummeed has a school outreach team where we really try to help those schools. For the first group of schools, we say, let us come and talk to you about what they are, and maybe you'll see some. And then for the second group of schools, we are willing to do skill building workshops.
Can children with learning disabilities ever merge into mainstream?
So it depends on what kind of learning issues you're talking
No, because
about.
I'm trying to say that, I know of parents who've, who are always anxious that will my child, and I know it's a wrong word, but will my child ever be part of the herd, or will my child ever be normal, like how they regard it as?
So I think we need to define what normal is, right? And I think for many families, what they're looking for is, will my child have friends?
Yeah.
Will my child be able to learn? Will my child be able to lead an independent life? And if we reset our expectations to, for what each of these looks like, many of these are possible. It is possible to have friends, it is possible to learn, it is possible to hold a job. I think very early in life, parents have to start prepping for that. If you see the 10th standard as the holy grail, it doesn't work. So if your long-term objective is to have an independent child, thing number one is not passing the 10, it's to get your child to do chores in the house, right?
I always feel that the child sometimes takes it in the right stride. It's the parents who take longer to come to terms with everything. How do you, because at Ummeed, the family is the epicenter, right? So how do you kind of, what do you say to the parents that kind of, I don't know if pacify is the right word, or just gathers them together and says, no, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to get this right, or it's okay. I don't know what different terminologies or what are the different things that parents come by with you.
I think what's really important for us to reiterate again and again is that parents are experts on their lives and the lives of their children.
Right.
And to give them a sense that they can make a difference in their child's lives.
Right.
And we are guiding, coaching, facilitating maybe, but they are the experts, really.
Right.
And they already have the skills to do it. It's our job to make those skills visible, right? And you think of a parent who says, I don't know how to play with my child, or I don't know what to do to make my child interact with me.
Yeah.
And you pick that one instance when the baby, maybe at bedtime, snuggles up with her. What happens then? How come she snuggles up with you then? What do you do to make that happen? How do you make the time for that at that time, right? What special songs do you sing for her?
Right.
Why does she feel so comfortable and curl up only on your lap?
Right.
I think those are all things that we need to make visible to parents for them to recognize that, maybe I do know this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And if I know the stuff already, maybe there's some more I can learn and make happen that will make a difference in my child's development.
Right. The awareness part of it, you're also coming up with the flagship event that Ummeed has been hosting for the last how many years now?
It's about 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So tell us more about that.
So we have a fundraising walk in Goa every January, and this time it's on January 12th, 2019. And the idea is really, it's a community of people who get together to build awareness and to raise funds for Ummeed. And it's an incredible experience. It's a 55-kilometer walk that we do in one day. So we begin walking at 5 in the morning and go on till about 7 in the evening with a break for lunch. But you really don't see it, you don't notice the fatigue because you watch the sunrise and sunset on the beaches of Goa. And you're walking with a group of people who are passionately interested in what we do and believe in it. So it's we've been doing it every year.
And what's in it for people who haven't been part of that journey? Like, why should they do the walk?
Well, I think multiple reasons. Health is a good one. Right?
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I'm hoping that this creates lots of ripples along the way in doing in spreading awareness about all the good work that you're doing. And I hope that you and us together, we can create like a little bit of a impact on the lives of more children and more parents and create happier kids. So thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to chat with you.
For more recipes, conversation, DIYs for kids, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video from Kidsstoppress.com.